My name is Claire Donnelly. I'm 38 years old. 9 days before Thanksgiving, my mom called just to tell me I wasn't welcome at my own family's dinner table. Not because I did anything. Just because my sister said I bring drama. That's the word they use for me. Drama. Not the lie that sat on my name for 4 years. Not the money they still owe me. Just me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I hung up and went back to my spreadsheets. But the Monday before Thanksgiving, I walked into the post office in Oak Haven, Indiana, with 4 sealed envelopes in my hand. What was inside lit my parents' phones on fire before sundown. 74 missed calls by 9 that night. And what I said on my own porch at midnight. Not one of them saw it coming. If you're new here, welcome to Silent Revenge, where quiet people stop bankrolling everybody else's comfort. If you've ever been called difficult for telling the truth, this one's for you. Drop your city in the comments, hit subscribe because this story does not end where you think. Let's get into it. Sunday night, 7 o'clock. I was doing a client's payroll at my kitchen table when my phone lit up. My mom in that flat, bright, rehearsed voice she saves for bad news. Honey, about Thursday. Renee's hosting and she's stressed and she doesn't want any drama at the table. We think it's best you sit this one out. Sit this one out, I repeated. Mom, name one thing I've done at a holiday. One thing. Silence except the TV rolling in the background. She couldn't name a single thing because there wasn't one. What she said instead was, just keep it pleasant, Claire. Then, softer, and don't make this about the other thing. It's Thanksgiving. She hung up before I could ask which other thing she meant because in my family there were 2. The thing everybody whispered about behind my back. And the thing nobody ever said out loud, the notarized secret sitting in my office safe with my dad's signature on it. One of those things wrecked my name. The other was about to wreck their whole holiday. Quick question, if your family's ever picked peace over the truth, comment your city. I read every one and you are not alone. Now let's back up 4 years. I'm a CPA. I run a small firm on 5th Street in Oak Haven, Indiana. My name on the glass, my office manager Nora up front, 6 years running, 14 tax seasons behind me. I took night classes for my license while working days at a car dealership. Opened my own doors at 29, paid off my house at 34. I round to the nearest dollar. My family rounds to the nearest good story. 5 years back, my dad had a heart attack in a parking lot. Triple bypass, 12 days in the hospital, and a mortgage they'd quietly stopped paying that spring. My parents never asked me for help outright. They just talked about maybe losing the house real loud at Sunday dinner until I drained my savings and cut them a check for $58,000. And because that's who I am, I did it right, a notarized promissory note, $500 a month. My family laughed about that paperwork for a solid year. Only Claire would make her own parents sign a contract. Only Claire would treat her family like a client file. But my dad signed it anyway, reading glasses perched on his nose right there at my kitchen table. And for 11 months the checks came in steady as clockwork, $500 first of the month. Then, for winters ago, they stopped. Not a phone call, not an explanation. Just silence where a payment used to be. And nobody in my family ever mentioned that loan again, like it had never existed, like $58,000 was something I dreamed up. Ask me why they stopped. The answer starts with my grandmother. Grandma Rose was the only person in that family who ever looked at me like more than the free labor department. She spent her last years at Willow Creek Manor, and she gave me power of attorney, not my mom, not my Aunt Carol. You're the only one of my grandkids who actually reads the fine print before signing anything, she told me once, patting my hand like I'd won a prize nobody else wanted. Every Thanksgiving, I cooked the turkey in her cast-iron roasting pan, heavy as a manhole cover, seasoned by 60 years. She'd handed it to me herself in front of everyone the year her wrists gave out. One November, watching my mom rearrange the seating chart for the 3rd time, she said quietly, "Nobody in this family gets to charge you rent for your own chair, sweetheart. Don't ever forget that." I tucked it away in the back of my mind the way you file a receipt you're pretty sure you'll never need again. 4 years ago in September, reconciling her quarterly statements, the columns didn't balance. I ran the numbers 3 times. $1,600 had left her account over one summer, checks from her personal checkbook, none of them mine, none matching any invoice. If you've ever caught something everybody else missed and gotten blamed for finding it, hit like right now, it genuinely helps. I did what I'd tell any client to do. Flagged it with the bank in writing. Called my mom, my Aunt Carol. Offered an independent audit. Handed out folders of statements. I found the missing money. I reported it. I was the only one asking questions about it. The family meeting, every set of eyes slid to the one person holding power of attorney. Me. Then my sister Renee, perched on the arm of my mom's chair, said the sentence that cost me 4 years of my life. Well, Claire did handle all of Grandma's accounts, didn't she? I'm not accusing anybody. She never accused me directly. That was the genius of it. She lit the fuse and left the room. A lie like that never sprints anywhere. Just leaks, slow and quiet, into every room in the house until the whole place smells like it. By Halloween, my aunt had spread it to my cousins. By Christmas, a woman from church was praying for the family's troubles. In January, the state accountancy board got an anonymous complaint about my ethics. No name, no evidence. Dismissed in 3 weeks. But the word investigation got loose in a small town, and words like that don't die. They hibernate. I fought back the only way I know how, with documentation, not tears. Sent every relative copies of the records. Asked our estate lawyer, Mr. Whitfield, to host a meeting where anyone could ask me anything, face-to-face, files on the table. My dad shut it down flat. We are not putting this family on trial. Like I was the one dragging everybody into court when I was the one practically begging somebody to cross-examine me. Here's the trap nobody warns you about. There's no way to prove your innocence when nobody will actually stand up and accuse you of anything. No charge. No judge. No court date. Just a rumor drifting from one kitchen table to the next, quiet as a draft under a door. And there's no witness stand for a rumor. Nothing to answer. Nothing to argue against. Grandma Rose passed that March at 92 in her sleep in a facility I'd made sure was paid up to the penny. Her estate went through probate. Every transaction I'd ever made, itemized, documented, approved by the courts, stamped in black ink. The missing $8,600 was listed too, unauthorized withdrawals. Source undetermined. Copies went to my mom and my Aunt Carol. I watched Carol's husband carry that envelope in from the mailbox while I sat parked across the street like I was staking out my own reputation. Nobody ever opened the exhibits. A judge cleared me, and my family never turned past the cover page, because courts don't know Renee the way family does. The funeral, my sister ran the whole show, flowers, slideshow, programs. The people called her the glue. I sat in the third pew and quietly kept paying my parents' homeowner's insurance, same as I had since Dad's surgery. $2,300 a year, protecting the roof my $58,000 had already saved once. You want to know how a family exiles someone without saying the word? One place setting at a time. First Thanksgiving after the lie, my mom met me at the door and steered me, warm as anything, toward the folding table set up with the kids. Just to keep things easy this year, honey. I was 34 years old, wedged between a booster seat and a bowl of dinner rolls, while my sister held court at the big table over a turkey I'd personally paid for. Second year, just come for dessert, Renee's doing the whole meal, you know how it gets. I came. I lasted 25 minutes. The only person who spoke to me like an actual human being was my niece Lily, 14, who wanted help with her algebra homework and didn't know or care about any of the rest of it. Last year, my mom offered to set aside a plate I could just swing by and pick up. Like takeout. I declined with more grace than the offer deserved. This year, no invitation at all. Just a dial tone and a kitchen that suddenly felt very, very quiet. And every single year, the request still found me. Order the turkey with my discount, drop off my folding chairs, bring grandma's roasting pan since the bird just doesn't taste right in anything else. My seat shrank every year. My invoice never did. If your family's ever shrunk your seat down to nothing, comment your age and city. This next part is where it turns. Don't go anywhere. That night my phone buzzed. Text from Mom asking me to call. I actually thought for 1 second it might be an apology. You'd think 38 years would have taught me better. We talked logistics, chairs, the butcher discount. Then I asked the only question I had left. Mom, do you believe I took Grandma's money? 6 seconds of silence. I counted them like counting the gap between lightning and thunder. She didn't say no. A mother who believed her daughter was innocent has an easy answer sitting right there. She left it in the drawer. What she said instead was gentle and final. Keep it pleasant, Claire. I understood something then, sitting in that quiet kitchen. She wasn't some innocent bystander who'd gotten fooled by a good story. She was the one calling the shots, and somewhere along the way she decided things just ran smoother with me benched, guilty or not. Keeping the family calm was the only thing she was actually protecting, and calm came a whole lot cheaper as long as I stayed the one everybody quietly doubted. My sister called 2 days later, maintenance not concern. Let me handle the family, she said, like our parents were a difficult client and I was a billing error she was smoothing over. But underneath the frosting, she sounded bone-tired, the way you sound carrying something heavy so long you've stopped mentioning it. I flagged it and moved on. If your family's ever chosen a good story over a plain bank statement, tell me in the comments because for 4 years I thought I was the only one. And subscribe now because you're going to want to know what showed up on my porch next. That Thursday, a carton arrived. Willow Creek Manor, Records Department. The facility had been sold that summer, and by policy, old files shipped to the resident's last responsible party. That was me. Inside was every paper generated about Grandma Rose, 4 years of a life in manila folders. I let it sit on my counter 5 days, brown and patient like a witness waiting to be called. Meanwhile, my family got busy online. I got removed from the family group chat with 0 warning, the group Renee alone administers. My Aunt Carol posted publicly on Facebook. So thankful for a peaceful family this year. 29 likes, 2 from my own clients. My brother-in-law Derek dropped a laughing emoji on an unrelated text I'd sent Lily. Didn't feel like heartbreak. Felt cold and administrative, like watching your own name get archived. That night I finally cut the tape. Most of the box was ordinary and holy, care plans, menus, Grandma circled in pencil, a photo of her in a lawn chair and big sunglasses. Near the bottom, copies of the 2 largest missing checks. Grandma's real signature by then trembled right. These were smooth as a salesman's. Then, in a folder labeled Resident Services, I found an incident report dated 11 days before that first check. A staff member logged that the resident's granddaughter, Renee Kessler, had signed the checkbook out of the lockbox and returned it on her next visit. I'd have recognized that signature blindfolded. I'd watched her sign birthday cards with that same loop ER since we were kids. Bank statements. Check images. A signed log with a name on it. For the first time in 4 years, the chain had no missing link. The next morning, my mom texted, "Leave the roasting pan at the back door Wednesday morning. Renee is hosting. Don't come in. It will just upset everyone. Keep it pleasant. Not how are you?" My family had banned me from the front door and was scheduling a pickup at the back, like I was a parcel service. They didn't want me at the table. They wanted my grandmother's pan on it, the one she'd handed me herself, left unattended on a step so nobody had to see me holding it. I lifted that pan out of the cabinet with both hands, set it beside the box of records, and something in me finished a calculation 4 years in the making. "That pan isn't going anywhere near the back door," I said out loud to nobody in particular. "And neither is one single page in this box. We're getting to the good part." Drop "keep it pleasant" in the comments if you're still with me, and subscribe now because what happens next changes everything. I called Diane Marsh, an attorney 2 counties over. She read everything for 35 minutes, then gave it to me straight. Promissory note was alive and enforceable. 7-year statute, default only 4 years old. Balance owed $52,500. A demand notice wasn't aggression. It was the note doing exactly what my dad's own signature promised. My sister's accusation had measurably damaged a licensed professional. A cease and desist was overdue. And the estate had a clean claim to the missing $8,600. Then Diane asked if I understood who the estate's actual beneficiaries were. My mom and my aunt. Every dollar my sister took, she took from the 2 women defending her. She drafted 4 letters. I asked to take them home and signed. Give me a few days, they're still my family. Because the truth is, I didn't want to win by mail. I wanted my family to read 3 pages and hug me in a driveway. So I made one last try. I drove over with a binder, the court accounting, the checks, the incident report. My dad spoke to me through the screen door. "You will not bring lawyers into this family. Your sister cried a whole week because of you. 'Cause of me." I set the binder on the welcome mat and drove home. The next day it was back in my mailbox, rubber-banded, untouched, a yellow sticky note on the cover in my mom's handwriting. "Keep it pleasant." That same week, my longtime clients, the Whitmans, 7 years in my book, switched firms. We heard things at church. 4 years of whispers had finally billed me directly in my own office under my own name. That evening, my sister posted her Thanksgiving collage, grateful for a drama-free table, and in the comments, a woman from their church wrote, "Every family's got that one person. God bless you for holding it all together, Renee." I didn't comment. You can't outstory a storyteller. But I know a field she's never played on: certified mail, return receipts, a judge's stamp. Saturday night, my mom left a voicemail. No mention of the returned binder. Just a reminder about the pan, and in the same breath, "Oh, and honey, the insurance bill came. $2,300, same as always. You'll take care of it, won't you?" Banned from the table and billed for the house in the same 7 days. They'd finally written it all down for me. "We don't want you. We want what you carry." I signed all 4 letters that night. My hands did not shake. Monday morning, the post office. Letters 1 and 2 went to my parents jointly. Formal notice of default, balance $52,500, an offer to resume $500 per month through Diane's office, no lawsuit, interest waived if signed within 45 days, and notice I'd no longer be covering the insurance. Letter 3 went to Renee, cease and desist, the checks, the incident report, and 2 demands. A written correction to everyone who'd heard the lie by December 10th and repayment of $8,600 to the estate. Letter 4 went to Aunt Carol, the accounting she'd never opened, and a request to stop repeating claims a judge had already retired. Not one line of feeling in any of them. Feelings had run this family for 4 years and lost. It was paper's turn. If you think 4 letters was too far or 38 years wasn't nearly far enough, tell me in the comments. And subscribe now because the next 12 hours undid 4 years of silence. Certified, stamped, tracked. 2 days of silence. Wednesday, 11:40 a.m. delivered. By evening, 39 missed calls. My aunt in all caps. My brother-in-law. "This is low even for you, Claire," from a man whose 9 unemployed months I could now account for to the day. By 9 that night, 74 missed calls. My family hadn't called me 74 times in 4 years combined. At 6:40, one text stood apart. "Lily. Aunt Claire, is it true about the checks? Is it true?" I didn't answer yet. My dad's voicemail at full boil. "Lawyers, Claire. You call me tonight." My mom's smaller, careful tears. "Whatever this is about, we can talk after the holiday. Keep it pleasant." Nora, sitting with me over takeout, said what we'd both noticed. "Nobody's asked you if it's true. Nobody ever has." The last voicemail at 9:40 was Renee, no frosting, a crack straight down the middle. "Call me." before they see the rest. Not it's not true. Just inventory. At 11:52, headlights swept slow across my front curtains and stopped. A car door. Then two more. My doorbell, which almost never rings after dark, rang twice in a row. I opened the door but not the storm door. Then I thought better of it, stepped outside anyway, and stood on my own porch in my cardigan, arms crossed against the cold, waiting. 3 of them stood under the yellow porch light. My dad in his good coat. My mom, a tissue already balled up in her fist. My sister Renee half a step behind, like a campaign manager showing up to a press conference that had already gone bad. Derek stayed in the car with the engine ticking, just a silhouette behind the glass, watching, not listening, which, if you think about it, was basically my whole family summed up in one single image. My dad opened at full volume, family. Blood. Lawyers at the holidays. I let it roll past me. You're on my porch at midnight, Dad. I've been outside a door for 4 years. We've all stood in the cold. He looked at my mom, then down at the mat. Tear up the letters. Come Thursday, we forget this ever happened. Not an apology. An offer. Then Renee stepped into the light, and for the first time in 4 years I saw my actual sister, not the brand. You think I wanted Grandma's money? Derek was out of work 9 months. We were 3 payments from losing the house, and nobody was ever going to know that either. Groceries. The mortgage. Lily's braces. I'm the one who keeps this whole family looking put together, the cards, the photos, church, all of it. You paid with checks, Claire. I paid with performance. And my performance needed that money to disappear without a trace, quietly, cleanly, no fingerprints. You don't know the first thing about what it costs to keep a family's story straight. I understood her completely right then. The same house that taught me to buy my seat with checks had taught her to buy hers with appearances. Understanding isn't forgiveness, though. She let my name burn for 4 years to keep her own story warm. But I finally knew what I was standing across from on that porch, not some villain out of a movie. Just somebody else running a completely different set of books than mine. My mom took my freezing hands, and I let her hold them while I finally said the numbers out loud, start to finish, in an even voice. 58,000 5 years ago, so you'd keep the house. 11 payments came back, then stopped, the same winter my name went into the ground. I still kept paying your insurance. 1,600 left Grandma's account. I found it. I reported it. A judge stamped every transaction I ever made, and not one of you turned past the cover page. To Renee, you told me I'm better with numbers than people. You were right. There's one more line item and it doesn't have a dollar sign. My name in a town where my clients share a pew with Aunt Carol. Nobody can pay that one back. My mom squeezed my hands. Honey, come Thursday, you can have it all back. Your chair's still there. Renee will just say it was a misunderstanding, a bank error. All cleared up. All you have to do is tear up the letters. I wanted to say yes so bad my teeth ached. 38 years of wanting it stood up inside me. But a bank error meant my name coming back clean, laundered through one more lie, peace bought again, someone else's name on the receipt. And that chair had only ever been mine as long as I paid the note, the premium, and the piper. They weren't offering my place back. They were offering to sell it to me. Through my window I could see Grandma's pan on the table, and my phone lit up beside it with a question nobody out here had answered. I took my hands back. No. Quiet hole like a stamp coming down. Here's what happens instead. I'm not tearing up the letters. The debt stays $500 a month, exactly what you signed. No lawsuit, no lien. I'm not taking the house. I just stopped donating mine. To my mom, the insurance is yours now. To Renee, your letter goes out by December 10th or everything gets read into the record instead of a Christmas card. Your choice. My mom's tears went messy. Why are you doing this to us? At Thanksgiving. She didn't finish because we both heard what was coming. That one little word, pleasant, turned out to be the priciest thing this family ever bought, I said. Lucky for all of us, I never once throw away a receipt. Comment receipts if you're still with me, and subscribe because there's a sweet twist coming right at the end. My mom straightened up. Well, she said, and took my dad's arm and chose the car, and I let her. Renee stayed at the bottom of the steps. You could have just paid it quiet, she said, not angry, almost curious. You'd have been back by Easter. I know, I said. That's why it had to be certified. She nodded, one bookkeeper to another. The letter goes out Monday. Not sorry. Not you were always the strong one. But from Renee, a commitment with a date is practically a signature. Car backed out. I stood there until the taillights turned the corner, then went inside and turned the deadbolt. I took Grandma's pan out and set it on the stove where it belonged. I found her recipe card at the bottom of the box, salt, brown sugar, orange peel, her real handwriting leaning honest to the right, and made her brine at 1 a.m. in the pan they'd scheduled for a backdoor pickup. The house smelled like every good November of my childhood. Then I answered Lily. True, sweetheart. And you are always welcome at my table. Always. She wrote back in 4 seconds, a little red heart. I finally understood what I'd bought that night. I'd spent 38 years believing steady payments equaled steady love, that if I kept every account current, the statement would come back marked paid in full. Renee believed the same thing about her stories. 2 frightened bookkeepers, 1 house, different ledgers. She was right about me. I am better with numbers than people. But numbers never once lied to me. Thanksgiving came in clear and cold. I roasted a 16-pound bird in Grandma's pan and set the table for Nora, her husband, my widowed neighbor Mrs. Alvarez's grown son Tyler, who was in town for the week, me, and 1 empty chair I left there on purpose. 2:00, the doorbell rang. Lily, cheeks red, grocery bag of rolls clutched like contraband. Mom thinks I'm a Hannah's. That chair had an owner within 5 minutes. She washed the roasting pan afterward without being asked. The Monday after, Renee's letter went out exactly as promised, 2 cold, minimalist lines taking full responsibility. First week of December, the first check in 4 years arrived through Diane's office, memo line blank where my dad used to write house. I chose to read that blank line as a beginning. The Whitmans came back, sheepish, shoebox in hand. My Aunt Carol still hasn't said a word to me, though I'm told she's stopped saying things about me, which from Carol is practically a sonnet. My mom sent a Christmas card, printed and signed, the politest surface in the world. I put it on the mantel anyway. Some Sundays my phone doesn't ring at all, and I won't dress that up for you. Quiet costs something real. But nobody at my table this year was paying to be there. Lily texts me her algebra grades now, and come spring she wants to learn how the firm works. Pan lives at my house. The debt's being paid down right on schedule. And my name, my quiet, boring, notarized name, is finally mine. Free and clear. Here's what 4 years and 4 green receipts taught me. Any piece you have to keep repaying for was never peace to begin with. It's just a bill that comes back around every single month, made out in somebody else's handwriting, and somebody's got to stop signing for it eventually. My family's ledger only ever balanced out the night I stood on my own porch in the cold and told them straight, take your piece and go home with it. I'm walking away with my name still attached to it. For green receipts. 74 missed calls. A turkey brining in Grandma's pan at 1 a.m. in Oak Haven, Indiana. That's what it cost me to get my own name back, and I'd sign that same check again tomorrow. If you've ever paid and paid for a piece you were never allowed to sit inside, tell me your story below, where you're watching from and how old you were when you finally stopped paying. I read every one. If this hit home, hit like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Silent Revenge, because next week another quiet person stops paying too.